Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Committee of the Whole for October the 15th, Part 4. I'd like to begin this meeting with introducing our controller, Tracy, and also welcome Beth Fields, in whichever order you decide, to open up this meeting, explain why this is Part 4 and how we couldn't get this done in the first 3. But I would welcome both to the podium here and give us an overview before we jump into each budget.
All right. Well, good evening. I'd like to start out by thanking all of you for the additional time that you allowed the administration to go through and review this budget and to make modifications. And the time that each of you gave, I know that each of you met with Tracy and I individually on multiple occasions during this past week. And we certainly appreciate the time that you took out of your busy schedules to work with us. That was very important. This collaboration makes it possible for me to stand here before you tonight representing the city team and presenting a modified 2026 budget proposal that we believe reflects progress towards the desired outcomes of our community and the administration. Our tasks were to balance our funds, begin to right-size the operations of city government, and ensure our future budgets are sustainable. This is something that we all acknowledge cannot be done in a single budget year. It will be an ongoing process that will continue during the coming years. Many of those words mean something different to different people. So I'm going to take just a minute to define them so that tonight we're all on the same page when we're talking about budgets. So tonight we're going to talk about funded budgets, which is a budget where there is enough cash in the fund to pay all of our expenses. A balanced budget, which is a budget where you only use your cash reserves to pay for capital outlays. And a sustainable budget, which is a financial plan that ensures that our ongoing revenue consistently covers our recurring expenses, allowing us to meet our obligations and provide services both now and in the future without compromising our long-term financial health. This is our ultimate goal. The key components of a sustainable budget include a structural budget, ensuring that our recurring revenues like property taxes are sufficient to cover those recurring expenses such as salaries, benefits, and maintenance. Ensuring that we have a healthy cash reserve in each of our funds. Ideally, our goal is to have a 15% cash reserve in each of our funds. Looking at long-range financial forecasting, this is something that Tracy as controller works a lot with Baker Tilly, who is our municipal advisor, to keep our 5-year forecast updated every quarter, working with them to provide information and to update that on a regular basis. Responsible use of one-time funds, using those non-recurring revenues such as settlements or one-time expenditures. Careful management of our legacy costs, reviewing our portfolio to ensure that our revenue sources are stable and that they're trending and are on target. And then obviously transparency, ensuring that we're providing clear and accessible budget information to the public to promote understanding and accountability. While currently only 31 of our 39 funds are sustainable, I am happy to report that the team was able to balance 24 of the 24 city funds, 2 of the 4 park funds, and 8 of the 9 sanitation funds. Of the 39 funds being presented this evening, 34 are balanced. You have a handout in front of you that recaps all of that information. On there, you'll see each fund is listed. It has a column showing the anticipated beginning balance on January 1 of 2026, the total receipts for 26, the disbursements for 26, and that estimated ending cash balance. And then it's also noted whether or not that fund is balanced and whether or not it is sustainable. So this is a recap of that information that I have just provided. Funding and balancing our funds for 25 and 26 required us to do some one-time funds and shift expenditures from the general fund to other funds to ensure that our 2025 obligations are met and continuity of operations for 26 continues. While these were not our preferred options and the circumstances were not ideal, we had to make choices from the available options, utilizing special funds or rainy day funds, as other alternatives were not available to us. Now that we have funded 2025 and balanced as many funds as we could for 2026, we are on track to begin right-sizing the operations of city government. This is something that will take a lot of study, data analysis, collaboration, and thoughtful evaluation of what services, amenities, and infrastructure we must and should provide to the community, and what is the most efficient way for us to provide them. We've all heard that our population is shrinking and that we need to shrink city government accordingly. The challenge is that our city's infrastructure was built to accommodate a population of 50,000, and it does not change in proportion to the change in population. As our population shrinks, our lane miles of roads do not shrink. Our sewer infrastructure doesn't shrink. And the cost to maintain those same 296 miles of roads in 2026 is exponentially more than it was just 10 years ago. Personnel costs are also increasing, and that's intentional. We want to provide our team members with more than just a living wage, not just for them, but selfishly for us as well. Paying a higher wage helps us attract and retain talent, which often leads to a more efficient and productive workforce. When team members are well compensated, they tend to be more engaged and less likely to leave, which in turn reduces the significant cost of hiring and training and replacing individuals. Beyond the financial benefits, competitive wages can also enhance the city's reputation and improve the culture for our team members, creating a positive environment. All that to say, we still got a lot of work ahead of us, but we have a great team, and we are ready to talk specifically about each of the sections if you are ready to move forward. So section 1 is the policy update section. So this section addresses the changes in the process of projects in the general fund in excess of $5,000. We heard council's request to be more connected to the larger purchases and contracts funded with general fund dollars. This new process will accomplish that while honoring the purchasing and internal controls policies that are already in place. So an overview of this process: all of the line items within the general fund in excess of $5,000 in the 3,000s, which is other services and charges, and the capital expenditures have been moved to the city council budget. So you will see in your city council budget, there are additional line items there for where each of those. You also have a handout in front of you that has yellow highlights. Those are the specific line items that have been moved to the council budget. So we just thought it would be helpful to have that as a separate document as well. So when a department is ready to move forward with a project that is in excess of $5,000, they will make a request to the controller's office to prepare a resolution that will come before council for your consideration and approval. The department head or team member that is requesting that funding will come before you. They will share the information for the use of those funds, answer any questions that you have, and then at that time it will be council's pleasure as to whether or not that resolution, which could be approved in one night, is moved forward, or whether it is referred to the finance committee and then comes back to the full council. That will be at the pleasure of council. Once that is approved, then it goes to the Finance Committee, to the Finance Department. And then at that point, they will wait and watch for the purchase order to be entered into BS&A, which is the city's software program. When that purchase order is entered into the system, then that is approved by the department head. And then at that point, the designated member from council will then come into the city building to the finance department, log into BS&A, review that purchase order, and approve that purchase order. After the council member approves that, then it goes on to the next layer of approval process within the city, which is the purchasing manager, and then eventually to Tracy as the controller. So once that is approved, then they're able to go ahead and move forward with their project. When invoices for that project are submitted into the system, the designated finance representative will again come into the city building, log into BS&A. They will then approve that invoice at that time. The 2025 Finance Department Policy and Procedure Manual has been updated. The highlighted areas show those updates specifically to this policy. Bringing it to council through a resolution process would not be considered part of this department policy and procedure manual, but that is the policy that the administration has committed to. We appreciate all of the input and the work that council did as we worked through to come up with a process that would be acceptable to council while also allowing the finance team to move things forward in a timely manner. So I am happy to answer any questions that you have about that change.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
it's my understanding a resolution comes to council before the PO, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so at that time, it will be explained to council what the money will be used for and then council then can approve or deny it at that time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone on council have any questions or comments for Beth in the process? I want to publicly thank Beth and Tracy. Both of you sacrificed a lot during this process. This was an incredible commitment to getting the city's finances back on track. I know we've heard a lot of funded versus balanced, but this is a great first year attempt at pursuing a balanced budget, living within our means, living in the black, and this is something that I'm really proud to be a part of. And I just want to thank the two of you because you went above and beyond and met with everybody and answered questions and missed important events. So I want to say thank you.
Absolutely. We had a whole team helping us. It was not just the two of us. So we absolutely appreciate all of the department heads and the team members that helped us get this together for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions before we jump in? And before we jump in, I thought that as these budget books that have been prepared for us have the listing of the departments, that we would just go down that list. And then this would be an opportunity for each department head to ask questions, to provide any kind of comment or detail, and then allow council also to ask questions or provide detail, and we'll move on, understanding that this is night 4. So we will try to be as efficient as we possibly can.
Yeah, section 2 is the general fund budgets, and the majority of the changes in these budgets are the zeroing out of those line items that you saw in that separate handout that are highlighted and moving those to the council budget. So you will note those new line items in the council budget that have the department name and then they say unobligated. That's where those funds have been moved. In the council budget within the general fund. I will sit down and allow the department heads then.
Thank you. So first, we'll be hearing from the general fund and those that fall underneath. We'll begin with the clerk. Well, you can play along with us. You've had an opportunity to review the updated budget
Related to my office? Yes.
related to the clerk's office? Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any comments or questions or concerns you'd like to
No,
share?
we just want to do what we can to help balance everything.
Does anyone on council have any comments, questions, or concerns for Madam Clerk?
Cut and dried, right? Is that it?
Per usual, yes. Thank
Okay.
you. Now I'd like to call Mr. Parker.
On the council budget, the salaries, of course, remain the same. There are no increases. The supplies and office general are exactly the same as they were last year, the 25 budget. The big difference is under other services and charges, the 3,000 and 4,000 accounts from the various departments as listed are all now into the council budget for a total of $1,050,302. And that will then come before us, and then we will make decisions as to whether or not the various departments can withdraw from this amount of money.
Any questions amongst council for Mr. Parker? Moving on to the law office.
Good evening. Council, Mr. President, I have nothing additional to offer relative to my budget. Would support what is being proposed to council, but would like to take this opportunity. As you all know, I work closely with all of the departments and department heads, so just wanted to publicly commend the administration as well as all of you as council members in getting us to this position this evening. So no additional comments unless you have questions for me.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Sigmund as it pertains to law? Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance.
Good evening. I have no comments. Our budget is as it should be.
Any questions for,
As it should be.
as it should be? Any questions for Tracy as it pertains to finance? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the Board of Works.
No comment. It's as it should be.
Any questions of council as it relates to the Board of Works for Tracy? Hearing none, you want to do the mayor's too?
No,
Like
no
to-
comment.
Okay, okay. Like to call the mayor forward, please.
Thank you, Mr. Burkhart. To reiterate what Beth said, I'm immensely proud of our team's efforts in recreating a budget that is balanced across all 24 of the city's funds, and look forward to doing my part also. And my appreciation and theirs extends to all the department heads. They've been invaluable in supporting reaching this milestone. Regarding the mayor's department, I have no further comments that we already covered previously, insurance increases and code enforcers removal to its own fund. Those are the changes you'll see in the mayor's office. That's about it, doing our part.
Does council have any questions for the mayor pertaining to the mayor's office budget?
There is one more thing. We did institute a hiring freeze on Tuesday. Monday was a holiday, so it went out to all the department heads for non-essential positions.
Good. Any questions further for the mayor? Thank you. Moving on to information technology.
Everyone.
Good evening. Tracy.
I have no additional questions or comments as pertaining to the information technology budget. unless you have questions for me.
Thank you, Tracy. Does anyone on council have any updated questions for Tracy as it relates to the IT budget? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
I&D.
Dustin's not able to be here tonight, and he's had no particular comments to share.
There's no one to answer the questions if you guys have any comments or questions for I&D, so we will go ahead and move forward with human resources.
Good evening, Kenyatta Cox, Director of Human Resources. I don't have anything additional to add other than what I've already spoken to you about. If you have any questions, I'm available to answer.
So in our budget book, we have our property and liability insurance. If anyone has any questions or comments about property and liability with this updated budget,
Mr. Chairman, I do have a
Mr.
question.
Parker, yes.
On our property and liability and RP&L's property and liability, do you guys ever get together and see if you can get a better deal by putting both of the things together?
We have not since I've been here, and I'm not certain that they did that prior from what I can tell. So the answer to that would be no, that's not something that has occurred.
I'm just
historically.
curious, as, you know, when we're insuring all the buildings that the city owns and all the buildings that RP&L has, if maybe we couldn't get a better insurance policy if we combined them both. I think that the next time we look into that, I think we should get with Tony and just see anyway. It may not work out, but it might save us a couple of bucks.
Might. Wouldn't disagree, especially with the costs continuing to rise.
And we have our RP&L budget meeting coming up in November, so that might be something that we can discuss at that point, too.
Okay, thank you.
So the workers' compensation. While Human Resources is still here, are there any questions or comments about workers' comp? Okay, thank you. Now I'd like to call forward the police department.
Sorry, if I could make a comment quickly, first regarding the police department. The Richmond Police Department, they have balanced all of their funds, so all of the funds that you see in there, you will see that some of their expenditures have been moved. So the Cumulative Capital Development Fund, we were purchasing police cars from that fund. Those cars have been removed from that fund, and expenditures from both the police department and the fire department have been moved to that fund. It's a total amount of $474,500. $195,500 of those expenditures are from the police department, and $279,000 of those are from the fire department. So that move was something that we had to do in order to allow us to fully fund and balance the general fund. So that is, as I mentioned in my comments earlier, that we had to move some expenditures from one fund to another. This is one of those instances where we had to move funds from the general fund to the Cumulative Capital Development Fund in order to fund the general fund.
Any quick questions for Beth on that movement?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Purcell?
how much are we getting from CCDF this year? Or in '26, I'm sorry.
So in 2026, our revenue from the Cumulative Capital Development Fund is $501,531.
Okay. I guess I have a little bit more of a question. Are those funds the funds that are going into these two capital funds for police and fire?
So that is the amount of the levy that is going into the Cumulative Capital Development Fund, and then the detailed budget that you see has the $63,000 for fire radios, and then it has the line items for police and fire in that detail.
Okay. May I ask, and I'm sorry that I didn't ask this in our other meeting, I guess the easiest way to put it, in the past, we'd committed all the CCDF money to capital for the police department. And I wondered why we had moved away from that model.
So this was in looking at funding that we needed to move from the general fund. We did not have capital in that amount to move. So we moved these other line items that made sense that are related to equipment repairs, ammunition and targets, some of the other expenditures there. There was not $474,500 worth of capital expenditures to move to that fund.
Okay. Well, I do know that in talking with the police chief recently, we're looking at, just with his numbers of the years that a car will last, 5 years, et cetera, that we're looking at 16 police cars a year. And the further we get behind on that, and I know what we're trying to do here. I mean, we've worked very hard, but that is a concern moving forward.
Absolutely, and that is something that is on the radar so that we can continue to acquire those cars at the rate that we need to acquire them. But with looking at the position where we were this year, that was just something that we could not do.
Thank you.
All right. So if you want to begin with the operating,
So, as far as what we have, I have no additional comments or questions on operating.
anyone have any comments or questions on the police department's operating fund? Hearing none, we'll move on to the animal fund.
Again, Mr. Chairman, no additional comments or questions.
Any questions of council to the police department on the animal fund? Hearing none, we'll move on to leaf.
No additional comments or questions.
Any comments or questions from council? Hearing none, continue in education. Oh, did you have something, Stringle?
I did have
My bad.
one quick question, and it's probably right in front of me, I'm missing it. What are we paying an animal welfare or an animal place to pick up or to deposit our strays when we get them?
I can address that. We currently have a contract in place till the end of the year. We are going to put up for bid the next contract by contacting the local shelters here in Richmond and probably the surrounding areas. The last time we did this, only one facility bid, and that's the one who we have our current contract with. We do plan on changing the number of animals that are listed in the contract. Currently, there's 400. That's just way too many. So we're going to reduce that by half and put the contract out for bid.
And that number, 400, is the number of animals that we can place in the shelters?
Currently,
Okay.
yes. Once we get a new contract, that will likely change because we don't need to be as high as 400. That's just way too much.
And so our contract is local? It's not with
It is,
Newcastle?
it's in Henry County.
It is with Henry County.
We our attempt or our desire is to keep everything local to prevent that drive over to Henry County.
All right. Thank you.
And just to reiterate, as Tracy said, that expires on 12/31 of '25.
Correct.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
this is actually a question for the mayor. Didn't you tell me this year that there had only been something like 47 animals?
The number was low. When the contract was first put in place, they were going off of a number of,
Between 360 and 370
Yeah.
was the information.
that was the information that was given when the contract was put in place years ago. So with the animal control, when we had the vet come in and do the study for the city,
Oh, yeah.
the suggestion was made back when the plan was in place to bring something and put something local between city and county, that only injured or aggressive dogs be taken to the shelter. So at that point in time, that's when the numbers dropped. So we kind of increased those numbers just a little bit with the outcry of the public and some of the help that these animals need. Conversations that I've had with animal advocates within the city, we are doing what we can to try and help everybody.
Thank you.
All right, so going back to LEAF, are there any questions on that before moving to continuing education? All right, we'll move on to the police department's continuing education fund.
No additional comments or questions.
Do we have any comments or questions from council about the police department's continuing education fund? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the criminal justice.
No additional comments or questions from me.
Any final comments or questions from council as it relates to the police department's budget? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now I'd like to call up the fire department.
Good evening. Chief Commander, Richmond Fire. I have no additional comments on my budget that's prepared at this time.
All right, we'll begin with the operating fund. Does council have any questions, comments about the fire department's operating fund? Is this a good pace? Am I moving too fast?
You're good.
Are we doing okay? All right, okay. Hearing none on the operating fund, let's move to EMS. Any,
Same thing. At this time, what I proposed is, I have no more comments.
does council have any questions for the fire chief as it relates to the EMS fund?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
under supplies, $850, and it shows that there's no activity whatsoever there. Is that true because, or just haven't?
A lot of times those
received any?
supplies get ordered at the end of the year, so they come out at the end of the year. We kind of order them a year in advance. Sometimes we catch that. Just depends on what supplies he needed. Right now, we're getting close to the end of the year, and those things are being asked right now, what supplies we need to get for the rest of the year.
Does the hospital help us with those supplies?
If we use something that, no, we buy our own supplies now. I mean, some things we can replace through Reed, they'll help us on some, but everything else, we buy all our own supplies this time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And Chief, I know we've had the conversation about updating supplies on trucks and the vehicles. Those are all in good working order.
Well, we just had pump test, and one of our trucks didn't pass pump test, and we may have to rebuild the pump, which is a big expense. So, and we got the ladder truck just went down today because the throttle body went out of it. So we're fighting gremlins right now and that stuff right now as we go. It's always something with us.
Okay. Well, we won't dive into that here, but
It's big, expensive.
sure.
One other question.
Yes, yes. Mr. Parker.
Do we wait until the end of the year for tires as well?
Right now, they are, because we're going to go into winter, that order went out this week to the mechanic to check all trucks' tires to make sure they're all within limit for winter. So they'll be changed if they need to be changed because we're going to winter, and more tread on tires is more important with big trucks. So that's being done right now as we speak.
Okay, because an $8,500 budget, we only spent $1,000.
It's, like I said, we'll look at them, like I said, but once, we have enough money to do 3 trucks, basically 3 trucks a year. So once we look at these trucks, how many we have to do, because a tire's about $500 a piece. And, it takes 10 tires, or 10 tires a truck, depending on the back tires and front tires. So that's what it's actually, the mechanic is going through that right now, is looking at those tires that needs to be replaced before we go into winter.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions on EMS fund for the fire chief? We'll move on to the hazmat fund.
Right now, the hazmat fund, we just have enough money to cover cost. As far as exorbitant and stuff like that, we spend about $5,000 a year. We just got a cash receipt with about $5,000 coming in. Should be coming in to Tracy this week from a company, so that will be a wash.
Any questions that council might have about fires hazmat? All right, hearing none, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to pension funds, and we'll start with the fire department's pension fund. And if they don't have one, we'll just give it away. Okay. Okay. Okay, all right. All right, so no one's here to answer the question, so we'll move on to police. I guess the question is, have you reviewed the updated budget? No,
I was not
okay.
provided that.
Okay.
I found out about this earlier this week from the chief.
Okay.
So I'm here for that, if so, but if there's not been any changes, my only comment is just
Okay.
if we're still still in our contract negotiations, so there is a possibility still without the rest of the year of us getting a raise, and that will raise my salaries for my pensioners.
Sure. Any questions?
So what percentage do they get? Same as what the contract is?
Based off, each pensioner, it just depends on their years of service. We have a matrix that's based from 20 years to, I think it's 33 years, or 30, something like that. Thank you. Everything's based off of the certified salary, which is the 20-year patrolman with longevity, and it's based off of, are they at 20 years or are they at 35 or whatever? And I don't know those specifics per year, but if you would like, I can get you so we have a breakdown of our certified salaries. I can send that to someone on the council if you would like.
Thank you.
Would you like that?
No.
Okay. Any final questions about police pension? Hearing none, thank you. Health insurance.
Good evening. I have
Good evening.
no questions or comments unless you have any for me.
Does council have any questions or comments about the health insurance in this updated budget?
Mr. President, I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you do in there. I've really enjoyed going to the meetings and hearing the updates and all the changes and the implementation of the teledoc, which I'm 100% in favor of. And I just want to thank you for all your service.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate
You're
having
welcome.
you and Lucinda a part of the group. We value your guys' input.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like you provide nice hospitality. All right, no additional questions. We'll move on to public operations, so code enforcement.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't have any additional comments or questions past the final doc I submitted.
Does anyone have any comments or questions as it relates to code enforcement in this updated budget?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Parker?
under your contractual services, I haven't checked it. Do we have that under our budget?
Number 8. Oh, you're looking at ours.
Pardon me?
Are you looking at ours?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I can't find it right now. But
It must have been moved, Larry. It's in the red.
what is our number?
to?
It's under, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Purcell.
I believe that is the 318 in the paperwork I gave everyone, where it shows the 63,000 unobligated code.
Yeah,
Is that
so the
correct?
contractual services, there's $50,000 from that line item, $10,000 in recording fees, and $3,000 from other equipment that was moved to the council budget.
What number is that?
It's on this sheet.
3990?
No.
It's gotta have a number.
In our line item, it would be 1101-0069-318-4322.
Well, I noticed the difference is 63,000 and in yours it's 50,000, is that right?
Yeah, there
It's
is.
all combined.
There's, something's wrong here.
Let's see. Don't have a ruler.
There's $3,000 in capital outlays, $50,000 in other contractual services, and $10,000 in recording fees. So that's your 63,000.
So they added all three of those together, okay.
The reason we did the capital outlays, added it to that, is because 3,000 is not considered an actual capital outlay. It has to be over 5,000.
Okay, all right, well, I was just wondering why one was 50,000, one was 63. Thank you. Makes sense now.
Okay.
All the questions I had, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Parker. Any additional questions for code enforcement? Unsafe building? Any comments or questions on us?
Yes, for unsafe building, as you'll see, we have reduced that demolition expenditure to zero. And that has been done because there is a new grant for funding demolition next year that we anticipate applying for. If we are not successful in receiving that grant, then we will come back to council and request an additional appropriation for those funds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any additional information on that grant as far as what realistically it could mean for the city financially?
So it's another round of the grant we received this year, the $350,000 that we received this year. So the final amounts and the allocation of that are still being
Sure.
worked through.
Okay, great. All right, unsafe building, any additional questions aside from the grant information? Nope. Airport?
No additional?
Anyone have any questions about the airport? Transit?
Nothing additional.
Any questions from council about transit? You can just make a question up, just kind of break up the air here. Okay, off-street parking to wrap that up.
I do not have anything additional for that.
Okay. Any counselors have any comments, questions on off-street parking? Easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the street department.
Quick update before
Sorry,
Commissioner Bozell.
he's not valid, that's the reason I was.
Yeah.
With the original budget that we had the county's wheel tax going into a standalone fund. We have been notified by the State Board of Accounts that those standalone funds are for wheel taxes that are enacted by the city council, not the county. So the wheel tax that's been enacted by the county that will flow to the city is to be deposited in the motor vehicle highway fund. So this budget that you have reflects that change of moving that from its own fund into the motor vehicle highway fund.
So Beth, county has approved their portion. When does the city start receiving those monies?
So it will be after the first of the year. That first collection in January, we should receive receipts in February.
2026?
Yes.
Will you share with us the back and forth from Senate Bill 1 and how,
Sure. Or do you want to share, TL? Okay. So in going through the legislative process this year, as they were looking at the Community Crossings Matching Grant Program, they reduced the amount of funding that is available to communities. So this year, there was a little over $350 million that communities could apply for. It was a one-to-one match for communities of our size, up to $1.5 million. That amount for '26 has been reduced to $100 million that will be available to all communities. The other thing that they put in the legislation is an additional distribution to communities that have enacted a wheel tax. So if you have enacted a wheel tax, you get an automatic distribution based on your lane miles. Based on our lane miles, if City Council were to enact a wheel tax, we would receive approximately another $300,000 that would come to us that is non-competitive. There also is a third bucket of money that if you have a wheel tax enacted that you can compete for. The conversations with the legislature is that potentially next year, if you do not have an enacted wheel tax at your municipality, you will not be eligible for any community crossings matching grant funding. That was something that was in this year that was removed from the bill. But that is something that we're watching very closely so that we can ensure Community Crossings Matching Grant is very important to our community. It allows us to do a lot of work here in the community, and we would come and have additional conversations about that should we see a change in that legislation.
so to just recap, we don't have the wheel tax right now, but we are still okay. But if they decide to put that back in for 2026, we would have to entertain some of that conversation as a council as it relates to community crossings for the city of Richmond. Thank you for that, Beth. Before we get started, just as a reminder, street department was one of the two that were unbalanced. So thank you for coming, TL. Do you have any comments or questions on local road and streets?
Only a little bit of what Beth echoed. I'm a little perturbed with the state legislature for screwing up a good program as Community Crossings was. It was an awesome program. Don't ask me why they wanted to mess with it, but that's my comment, so. Just had to get that off my chest.
There you go.
So-
Very good.
Mr. Parker?
In addition to that, and I agree with you 100%, but the public should know that the majority of that Community Crossings grant was given to Marion County.
Yeah. $50 million of it.
Yeah.
But they have to match it, just like every other community in the state, but, so.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess I just would like to make echo the same sentiments. I believe the street department's doing a great job. You see a lot of paving going on in town right now, and a lot of streets need it. So I think it's so important for any community to keep their streets up. I mean, that's just, to me, that's the most important thing.
And then to piggyback off that, currently, what can we pave? Like, for example, in 2025, how many miles can we pave with the funds that we currently have?
Oh, I'd say probably 6 at most.
Okay, so 6 miles we can pave based on the funds that we have in 2025.
Yeah.
Mr. Goss, did you have a?
In the recent street pavings in the last month, those were all community crossing streets.
Our in-house crew did Sim Hodgin Parkway, and they've done a lot of strip patching. A lot of the non-curb streets we can do ourselves in-house. We usually use the community crossings money for the bigger projects and the projects that have curb, because we have to mill those roads to get the grade back to, where it was at before, so. But yeah, most of all the bigger projects were community crossings.
Any final comments or questions on local road and streets of council? Hearing none, we'll move on to motor vehicle highway. Any comments or questions?
No comments or questions?
Does council have any comments or questions of TL on motor vehicle highway? Hearing none. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to strategic initiatives. And in our book, it says lit, if you want us to.
That's correct. Yes, the local income tax fund. You will see some changes in this fund. In reviewing the information that we had in our cash flow sheet and looking at the revenue that we are actually going to receive, we're actually going to receive about $710,178.55 less than we had expected. So on your cash flow sheet there, towards the bottom in the budgeted cash flow summary section, you'll see projected adjustments, revenue shortfall. So you'll see we have reduced our funding for this year to take into account that we're not going to receive that money. As part of that, we are also, you'll see further down there, code enforcement and their work crew have done a great job with mowing of nuisance properties this year. And so we are able to reduce the line item that was for code enforcement mowing by $100,000. So a budget reduction ordinance will be coming before council in the next week so that we can officially reduce that, and that will be considered as part of our cash flow. We also made some significant adjustments to the detail sheet so that we could balance this budget as well. So some of those expenditures that we had in for the comprehensive plan, for example, for the wayfinding signage, the funding that we had in for the land bank, those were removed from this budget in order to be able to balance that budget, as well as some of the additional funds that we had in the economic development line item within the mayor's line item. That has been reduced to $33,000, and $30,000 of that is for the Veterans Services Officer. So we did make several adjustments so that we could balance this budget, knowing that if there is an emergent situation, that we can always come back to council to present that and request an additional appropriation.
Any comments or questions for Beth on lit? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Midwest Industrial Park.
There were no changes to this fund.
Any comments or questions of council to Beth on the Midwest Industrial Park? Hearing none, tax abatement.
No changes to this fund either.
Any comments or questions on tax abatement? Hearing none, RDC.
So for the Redevelopment Commission, for both the allocation area 1 of the tax increment financing district, there were no changes there, or to the certified technology park either.
Any questions for Beth? RDC. Okay. Lastly, opioid.
There were no changes to these budgets either.
Any questions for Beth of opioid? Hearing none, thank you. Now we'll move on to the Parks Department.
I'm going to start with a couple quick comments. So in looking at the Parks budget on the 2025 cash flow, you will see that we did do an adjustment of that to try to reflect the actual revenue that has been received this year, along with the revenue that the Parks Department anticipated receiving for the rest of the year, so that we could update that. When you get to the bottom of the first page, you'll see there is an estimate of salary savings for the fund. That has been listed there, the $54,104.13, as well as a budget reduction will be coming in the amount of $50,000 for capital items that will not be used in the 2025 budget. And I will defer to Park Superintendent Retz for the rest of the comments.
Thank you. And just as the final reminder, as we had two budgets unbalanced, Parks is the second of the two. They're coming from everywhere.
That's what we do.
So Denise,
Yes.
you want to start with operating?
We can, yes, if that's what you'd like. I just wanted to make sure that I passed out, I had some information for you. I wanted to start by saying thank you to council for your continued support of Parks Department. It's been wonderful, and each one of you has shown support to the Parks Department over the year and over several years, and I just wanted to say thank you. You continue to show me support as well. I also wanted to make sure to say thank you to the Parks team. As you see on the flyer that I've shown you here, they work hard each and every day. They're the reason why I continue to do what I do, and they build me up each and every day that I step into the office. So they're the reason why I do this, along with the community, and so I just wanted to thank them for their dedication to our community. I also want to thank the city team, because the department heads that we have right now, they continue to help one another. And there's a lot of departments that work very well together and lend hands when they need them. And so that makes life a ton better, and that's very appreciative. The park board's been very engaged in this process, especially this budget this year, and so that's been also very great. So we just really appreciate that. But I'm happy to answer any questions. I wanted to make sure that you had this by the numbers, and that I can answer any questions on this budget that you have in front of you, if you have any.
Okay, we'll start with operating. Does council have any questions on the Parks Department operating fund?
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Barker?
one of the things that I don't quite understand on this 5716,
Facility rentals?
rentals,
It's this,
you've increased that by 10,000, and you only took in 53.
yes, this is as of 6:30.
Right, so if we double that, it doesn't come anywhere near the 135.
So we did a reduction, as Beth talked about, on the revenue side. So we've already reduced and forecasted exactly what we're going to have for the remainder of the year.
Okay, so this 10,000 is,
So we've also increased the rates for,
pardon me?
we've increased the rates for 2026. So Park Board voted to increase the rates on all venues and shelters.
So you really feel like you're going to get 135,000 then?
We're going to try our best.
Okay, and the same thing, I have the same thing about the dock rental, that same question.
Yes, so, I mean, that's a tough one. It's promotion. It's, you know, doing our best to get out there and get the dock rentals. You know, we have to strive for a target number, and that's what we do.
Well, I think it's too high.
Okay.
I think the best thing, what do we have, 5 or 6 boats out there now?
No.
How many?
No, we had 13 this year.
13? Mm-hmm. And how many docks do we have available?
We have several available. It's, you know, we also decreased the price again, and we also did a promotion in the fall. We had a few more that came in the fall, but, you know, we can't force people to put a dock on Middle Fork. But what we can do is we can give them opportunities and do additional things at Middle Fork to try to get them to come.
Well, I think what we should do would be to continue to lower the price until we fill it up.
And
Because it costs no more
we
to
have to
have them
have
all
the,
filled.
yep, and we have to have the interest. So you keep reducing the rate, you may not still have the interest. So the interest has to be there as well. So there's a fine balance.
I understand the fine balance. I just think that's I think.
We have to also increase the opportunities at Middle Fork so people want to put their boats there. I think that has a lot to do with it, the opportunities that we have there. And so I think we're working through that. But it's a good question.
More questions.
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Does that rental go to the pool and other items too, as
Which-
far as
which rental?
increasing fees?
These are, yes, all, yes,
board?
across the board.
Gotcha.
All of the rates will be mostly increased. But yes, the daily and the membership and the pool parties.
Okay. Any additional questions on parks operating? Hearing none, we'll move on to golf.
So this is overseen by the park board, so they oversee this budget. Okay? Would like to talk about it?
Just if you had any updates or?
Oh, no updates?
Nope. Okay. All right, Bill, do you have any, you're the liaison, if you have any comments or questions, or?
No, I
No
don't think
comments or
so.
questions? Okay. WPS,
Overseen by the park board.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Any comments or questions, Bill? No. Nope, okay. Farmers Market,
Same thing, overseen by the park board. I did just draw your attention to some of those by the numbers. I did include those on the by the numbers pamphlet that I handed out. It has some really significant farmers market numbers and the impact that it creates. It's on the bottom left-hand side.
okay. Does council have any additional questions of the Parks Department? Nope, okay,
Okay?
good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the Richmond Sanitary District.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't have anything off the top to add, but I'm here for any questions.
All right. So does anyone have any questions or comments of Pat for the sanitary budget, the landfill budget? The stormwater budget?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Purcell?
this is unrelated to the budget, but we had earlier talked about the area there
South V.
off of, yes, I'm sorry, on the yards flooding, et cetera, and no storm sewers in that area. Have we worked with those folks and have any plans?
We did go speak to them. Councilmember Jane Bumbleau was there as well as we spoke to them. As we went over, the district has utilized a matrix for several years that does an unbiased evaluation of all projects that are in that list so that it's not a squeaky wheel or X people that you know or anything like that. It has a ranking system that goes through that. The city of Richmond obviously is an old city. A lot of communities or areas of the community were developed pre-standards or things have been annexed. So the district uses that matrix to chip away at projects, and again, it ranks them by priority, and we chip away as the budget allows per year. As we spoke to them, they are around 7th, I believe, without having that in front of me. I think it was 7th on the list of 60-some projects to be worked on. They're currently in our 5-year capital in year 2028. We explained to them there are reasons where things get pushed or pulled, right, as we apply, and this doesn't necessarily mean to them, I'm just going as a holistic approach, right? Certain projects score better for grants, so you might get pushed or pulled slightly based on a grant application. There are aspects like if I know a road is getting paved this year, I may push or pull you that year so that we don't dig the road up twice, you know, so there's certain things that push or pull, but they are in that list for 2028.
Thank you. For the audience's information, that is the area right behind St. Mary's Cemetery, basically.
Yeah, kind of off of 227
Yes.
south there, yes.
Thank you.
Does council have any final questions for Pat as it relates to any of these budgets? Hearing none, thank you. So at this time, we've now gone an hour and 10 minutes. And we've heard from all department heads. I don't believe that anyone has been forgotten, so thank you. Any follow-up? Mr. Mayor, would you like to take an opportunity to say anything?
Just reiterate what I said further, earlier, how appreciative I am for everybody stepping up and all the department heads. A lot of evenings and weekends were spent getting to this point, so, and I appreciate council's patience in letting us take some time out and look at all this again and get closer to a fully balanced budget.
Thank you. Does council have any final comments or questions as it relates to anything that was covered this evening?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Purcell?
I've heard all the compliments go out, and they're all very worthy and deserving of those compliments, but I also want to compliment you on the way that you headed up the Finance Committee and helped make this happen. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Turner?
am I remembering correctly that we literally opened the public hearing for each of the elements of the budget at our first?
At the last meeting, we opened, explained the situation, and then the president successfully closed the
Right.
public hearing. And
So this would be the new, and we'll bring it to council on Monday on for first reading.
We have to go through first?
and I believe,
Second,
and I,
Pardon me?
Still on second. You held it on second.
The new one will be on second?
Which one?
Your number one.
Just
Mr. Ross, did you have any?
I didn't think we actually closed public hearing. I thought we left the public hearing open.
Where's AJ when we need him?
Yeah, we need AJ.
So
We cut his
they need
budget.
to
Forget it.
review
Well, by
review
Monday,
that.
we'll know, I'm sure.
It's my opinion,
Okay.
since this is a brand spanking new budget, that the other budget is gone. And this is the first meeting we've had, and this is a committee of the whole meeting. And then it should come to council on first reading.
But-
Have the 20th set as the public hearing, and then the 30th set as the adoption date.
Yeah.
That's what was advertised.
So that's the first Monday, and then the 20th would be the second, and the final adoption is on the 30th.
Yep.
Yeah, Monday is
Today's
the
meeting
20th.
being the 20th.
Monday's
Monday's meeting being the 20th.
So, on the 20th, we'll sign it to finance for review.
Finance has already reviewed it
Yeah.
many times. Okay. Does that conclude your question?
It sure does. It means Monday night's meeting is going to be a short one.
Council, have any other additional questions or comments about the process? Was that a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Bye.
Here we go.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.